Hey guys, a very good morning, good evening to all of you, wherever you are. So today I'm back again with another important video for Dynamics 365. I know many of you have been constantly telling me that I should upload videos more often, and yeah, I'll definitely try to do that. Actually, I'm caught up in a variety of projects as of now. Anyway, so moving on to today's topic, we'll be discussing a lot about dates. Believe me when I'm saying that. What is requested ship date? What is requested receipt date? What are all those confirmed ship dates, receipt dates? How exactly is the system planning? Like what date everything is available, the inventory is available. So basically we'll be going through a lot of setups and various types of scenarios. In short, order promising. So this itself is a very important concept, and I thought I should actually make a video on this. So let us first clear some of our concepts when it comes to the delivery date control, so that Bob, that will become easier for you to understand when we'll walk through the demo. Okay. So in Dynamics 365, we call this concept as order promising, or ATP, available to promise. In short, when are the goods available so that we can ship them and we can satisfy the demand. So that's it. So let us go through some slides. For example, you might have seen on orders, like we have requested ship date, requested receipt date. So basically requested ship date is the earliest date that the company is able to dispatch the product's full quantity of line from a particular warehouse, obviously. And receipt date means when the customer will be able to receive that particular quantity. I mean, you are sending it and the customer is receiving it. Okay. And a quick look at various dates, because a lot of people I've seen, they are always confused. Requested ship date means this is customer requested shipment initiation. Requested receipt date means you can say it's like the most appropriate receipt date, which the system can suggest you, or which you are trying to make sure that okay, the customer will all of these goods will be shipped to the customer. But confirmed is like which is final date, which is frozen, that it's the basically it's the confirmed ship date, so that you can update the customer if any changes are there. And similarly is the confirmed receipt date. I mean, these two dates are something which rarely change, because obviously it means that they are confirmed. Most of the times we are using a combination of all of these dates in MRP and transportation management, but obviously the basic scenarios will occur even if you are doing the normal purchase and sales. Okay, so moving on to some important setups now. This is the place where we define what type of delivery date control we want. So it's in the account receivable parameters, and we have delivery date control. So we'll be having a few of them. For example, the sales lead time, ATP plus issue margin, and CTP, something like that, and few other uh, parameters here, just to make sure how these things are working. Let me just quickly show you how all of these things actually work in theory. Then we'll move on to the practical. So these are various order promising methods. So it depends on company to company, which company wants to use which method. For example, if you selected none, it is always assumed that the inventory is always available. Then sales lead time. If the type of order promising is sales lead time, it simply means that I'm trying to create a sales order today, and after a fixed lead time, we'll define the lead time obviously for the sales. Then after that, the inventory will be available, and that's it. For example, today is date 1 and I have lead time of 10 days. Then 1 plus 10, on 11th date, we can ship the goods. So it's a very simple process. It is not going to take into account the existing orders or the inventory. It will just assume simply that okay, 10 days lead time, that's it. we'll deliver after 10 days. Available to promise is a kind of a complicated as well as a flexible method. Most of the people do use this. So a lot of things are actually taken into consideration along with the sales lead time concept. Available to promise is also going to take how much inventory is available. Uh, can we ship it fast? Obviously if the lead time is 10 days, but if the inventory is available today, so obviously we can ship it today. Why wait for 10 days? And if not, if only partial inventory is there, then how much can we ship first? Let me say the demand is of 10 and we have inventory of only 5, then it will obviously say, okay, please wait for the required ATP lead time. Otherwise, if the quantity is less, then it will say, okay, we have it today, let's ship it today only. So yeah, we'll see all of these scenarios. And ATP plus issue margin is nothing but the ATP time plus there is another time called the issue margin, which we specify in a parameter. So basically issue margin is nothing but the time required for the preparation of that shipment. So it's like one extra offset along with the ATP. Capable to promise, also known as CTP. It is pretty much like ATP, but only the production is involved in this scenario. For example, if you're producing something, so how much hours it's gonna take to produce that kind of thing, and then those hours finally they convert into the proper dates. Like okay, 24 hours for production, then obviously like we need 2 days. So 2 days extra. So CTP is nothing. It's like a very simple concept, just like the ATP. But here we are talking about the production orders, their explosion, and the times available in the routes and the operations. Okay. Delivery date control none. It's super simple. Today is the so requested ship date is today, then receipt date will be nothing. Let us assume for now that we do not have any transport days, so receipt date is nothing but today plus transport days. So it's like it's a very simple assumption. Everything is present today, that's it. If it is sales lead time, it means today plus the sales lead time. As I was telling you, we are just revising that. Sales lead time is 5 days, then today plus 5 days. There you go. We can ship it there. And one more thing, as I was telling you, receipt date is nothing but the ship date plus transport days. We'll talk about all of these things in the setups. Then ATP, as I told you, it is like very much the same, just like the sales lead time, but it will obviously take into consideration various factors. We'll talk about that. Issue margin is nothing, ATP plus that extra offset that I was telling you, and that's it. CTP, very same like ATP, nothing fancy, only the production is involved here. But there are some certain settings that we need to do. For example, in the default order settings, so we have various places where we can specify lead times. We can specify lead times in the parameters, as I was telling you, but we can specify the lead times and all of these times within the item itself. And as we know that always the priorities will take place on the item. If something is specified in the global parameters, that will be overridden by the local parameters. Okay. Then we have, so this is the overall idea, like what exactly is happening. Please do not be overwhelmed. I know this is very much a rough sketch, but anyway, this is super simple. You'll understand this chart. It's like ATP is related to a lot of concepts: order entry, deadline, mode of delivery, transport days, and all of these. We'll come back to this chart once we've done certain setups. Okay. And now let us consider a simple scenario. For example, see, there is the item and from one warehouse we are going to ship it to a particular customer. Let me say customer is having there are two delivery addresses for the customer. One is in Delhi, one is in Mumbai, and there are three ways in which we can transport, we can send our shipment. So obviously, let me say, if I from my warehouse, if I am sending the shipment to Delhi by air, it may take 5 days, but the same may take 7 days. So various combinations are possible. So these are all modes of delivery. These are the delivery addresses, and these are the transport days. the available transport days. Okay. So as we can see, the mode of delivery is also related to ATP. Transport days is also related to ATP. We will talk about what is order entry deadline. This is super simple actually. But anyway, and all of these things are related to the calendar, the item, and in the end, all of these things that we were talking about, sales lead time, ATP lead time, and all of these things, these are nothing but the delivery date control that we were discussing few minutes ago. And they all are connected with the ATP also. We have receivable parameter, we have uh, either we can directly, get all this information from here, or we can directly get this information on the item, and item will get preference. Anyway, I think enough with theory. I really like to teach in using some demo. So let me show you some of the setups that I've done. So no, I do not want to update it. Thank you very much. So so guys, what we are going to do is let me first create a customer with two delivery addresses. I think I've already done it. So let me go to my customer and all customers. There are a lot of scenarios here, but believe me, this is super simple. You just need to get the hold of the various scenarios. So that's it. And so this is a customer that I've created. And if I go to addresses, yes, I can see that I have two addresses, one for Delhi, one for Mumbai. Okay. So this is what I've done because I would want to see it in various addresses. Second is mode of delivery and transport days. So guys, mode of delivery is super simple. We can go to mode of delivery and let me, so sales and marketing, set up distribution. Let me set up a mode of delivery. Let me say by air and click on save. And let me say by road. I'll just do one thing. I'll only create two. I do not want a lot of permutations here. So I have created two modes of delivery. All right. So now then let me configure the transport days. Okay. And I'll configure transport days for Delhi. Let me say by air from my warehouse, we'll be only using one warehouse. By air, it will take 5 days. By road, it will take 10 days. But if I want to go to Mumbai, by air, it will take 8 days, else it will take 16 days. Okay. So let me do that. This is more important part and transport days. Transport days. Okay. I think I've already added these two transport days, but let me delete this because there are few things that I needed to show you. Okay. So if you remember, transport days will be added to the requested ship date. All right. Let me show you whenever we were talking. These transport days, they simply get added to the requested ship date. So right now, and how do we get requested ship date? This will be determined by using the sales lead time or ATP or ATP plus issue margin and all of those things. Right now, I'm focusing on the second part, the transport days, so that I can get my requested receipt date. So, in this session, I'll be covering almost all the aspects so that you should not get confused in delivery date control. So right now I'm focusing here, the transport days. Okay. So let me create new. So basically I want to ship from warehouse 11 and obviously I'll have to specify which country. This is how we specify the transport days. So India state is Delhi. City is Delhi since it's a union territory. So state and city are same. Zip and postal code. So let me see. Yes, I'm still here. Thank you. I will have to see my delivery address. Duplicate. This is our test environment, hence running super slow. Accounts receivable, customer. So I just wanted to get hold of those zip codes so that I can, the system can recognize it because there are many zip codes. I just want to see which one I have used in the address. So one is, okay, let me take this one, Delhi. And okay, so this is the zip code. And see, now I want to yeah, I've written the zip code and all. We can add multiple modes here. Now as we were saying, I want to I've made a data. I want to add air 5 and road 10 days. So I'll do that. Let me select by air 5, okay, and by road 10. And which one should be there by default? Let me say, and Delhi, I want that by road should be default. Okay, great. This is one entry. And now want another entry for the Mumbai. Okay, so country India, state is Maharashtra, city is Mumbai. Okay, and zip code. This is the zip code I want. Zip code here also. Let me say by air 8, by road 16 days. Okay, so by air I want 8, and by road I want 16 days, and here I'm making the air as default. Save. So this will take care of the requested receipt date, because now the system is having all the information. Only the particular days needed to be added on the ship date so as to get the receipt date. And obviously you'll be choosing from which warehouse. Here we have warehouse 11, and what is the mode of delivery, whatever your choice is. So we've given the mode of delivery for both the cities for a particular warehouse. That's it. Okay. So once this is done, now let us know a bit about order entry deadline groups. This is actually super simple. See, looks difficult, but it isn't. Order entry deadline groups. ENT. Yeah. This is first we have to create a group. Let me create another group, G2. G2. Click on save. This is simple master. The main thing is this group is associated with order entry deadlines. Guys, this simply means you have to specify various timings in your company. See, uh, let us suppose if the order is coming, if the sales order is coming at 4 p.m. and usually all your shipping and everything is, it just winds up at 3:30 p.m. in your factory. So it should be assumed that the order is coming the next day, not the current day. So this is basically the threshold. If I click on new, I'll say you want for all sites. No, I want for a specific site. If you want for all, this will be blank. As you can see, if I select all, we'll not get anything here anyway. I want it for a specific site and I want it for a specific group, and the group is G2. And I want that whatever the orders are coming after 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon, they should be treated as if these orders did not come today. Like today is May 4. It should be treated as they came on May 5. So this is the threshold. Nothing special. Let me see, let me write 3:30 p.m. And you can obviously have this different for different days. Let me make it same. Anyway, it's not going to make a difference in today's session because uh, we'll be wrapped up by then. Click on save. That's it. Illegal combination, illegal, yeah, because I haven't specified the command site because I selected specific save. Once this is done, now all we need to do is specify this group on the on the item. So this is my item. I've just created a new item and did some transactions so as to avoid the recording time. And here we can define, there's a place somewhere to define the order entry deadline groups. Maybe in sales. Not sure about that. Uh, order entry deadline groups. Come on. Mm, no, it's not going to be here. Manage inventory. I'm not able to get this yet. Hold on, let me check. Weather is on. Mm, okay, anyway, I'll check that after some time. It's really not that big of a deal. I've just forgotten where we have to tag that, whether it's on the customer or where. Anyway, so not an issue with that. We can leave it. The only difference that it will make is it will add 1 day less or 1 day more depending on 3:30 p.m. That's all it needs to do. So I think okay. Anyway, we can move forward. So really excuse me for that. I'll have to search where we can define, but yeah, it's still not going to play any role in today's session. Anyway, so next what we have to do is create. Okay, this is done. All right, we have to assign this to customer master. Okay, this is the reason I wrote it down. Okay, let me go to the all customer, all customers. Yeah, I was a bit confused whether I have to assign it to item or customer. So this is my customer and oh, it's here. So you can see we can edit it and we can assign it. So whatever your customer is, if I assign it G2, now it will treat as if whenever the order will come from this customer after 3:30 p.m., it will be treated as if the order is not coming on that day, but the next day. That's it. Okay. After that, okay. Now the settings which are obviously required for the various scenarios as we were talking, the requested receipt date and all. So now we are coming to the actual settings. So account receivable parameters. Then we have the shipment. And I told you there are so many setups here. Now this is the place, guys, where we are going to specify what delivery date control you want. So let me quickly walk you through the sales lead time first. And I've written the lead time of 2 days. That's it. And I want working days, obviously. I do not want to consider Saturdays and Sundays. If they are off, then it's okay. If they are not, it's not an issue. So sales lead time 2 days. I'll click on save. And also in the released product, what I've done is so these things will take preference. But on the product, I can also write my own lead times and I can override these settings. Then, as I told you, the item settings will always get a preference. So in the default order settings in the sales, I'll go and I'll say uh, override sales lead time. We're not using. all of these things yet. So sales lead time is 2. Yeah, sales lead time is 2 here. And I want that the sales lead time should be, let me say, 5 here, or we can make it whatever we want. Let me make it 10. This looks good. Sales lead time is 10. Okay. These are all the setups that we need to do. Let me quickly create a sales order now. And I'll create a new sales order. And I want a warehouse 11. Okay. So guys, as you can see right now, it has taken by default the requested ship date of 6. If you see, the delivery date control is defaulting from the account receivable parameters, and it is taking by default the ship date of 6 because we haven't specified any item yet. So obviously 6 because 2 days lead time is there, and today is 4. So this is why it is taking uh, 6. And also, if you see, it's adding some more days, 6, it's adding some more days to calculate the receipt date. Why? Because if you understand that right now the delivery address is Mumbai. Delivery address is Mumbai, and Mumbai by default, there are two types of, now we specified there by air, we specified these days by air 8 days, by road, and this I made mandatory. If you remember, sorry, I made this one as default. So it's picking up Mumbai address and it's picking up by air as default, adding 8 days, and hence 8 days added with the 6 will give you 14. So this is how the things will happen. If I change the address, suppose I do not want there, I want in Delhi. Now the things will change. Now 2, obviously, because 2 is the lead time, but 16, why it's taking 16? Because if you remember, here we made this thing as default. So in Delhi, the by road is the default way to go. So yeah, so it's adding 10 days here, 10 days. So 6 plus 10, 16. So guys, this is how the whole receipt date is calculated. You can see all of these things. We are changing the addresses, the receipt dates are changing. Why? Because the transport days are changing. Okay, the transport days are changing. If I click on simulate delivery dates, it is going to give us the lead time of 2, which is defaulting from the parameter, and obviously transport days is 10. So this is how all of these dates are calculated. We haven't added item yet. We'll see how all of this thing will be affected by the item. So this is right now on the header only. Okay. So this is how all of these dates are calculated. Let me quickly click on OK. Like, all right, we are going with this. But now I'll add the item. And you'll see that as soon as I add item, the date will change from 6. So ITM 005. And let me say I want to sell 12 quantities. Okay. And if you go to the delivery, you'll see the requested ship date is now changed. Why? Because the default order settings of the item is taking the precedence. So directly 10 days being added and then 10 days lead time. So this is how these things are reacting. 10 days added, today's 4 plus 10, 14, we'll be able to ship you because it is written on the item. Item is getting preference over the global. And 10 days is the transport days. Why? Because it is being shipped to Mumbai. Sorry, shipped to Delhi. And the mode of transport by default is road, and that is 10. And that is we haven't selected, but if we select air, then it will change the mode of transport also, the days also. So this is how all of these things happen. Okay. And also, let me say, if I want a quantity of 2, click on save, it will really not matter. It will still say requested ship date. Although we do have some good quantities of this item present in our inventory. If you see, we have some inventory and we can satisfy this demand right away. We have the physical inventory of 5, available physical as 5. But the sales order is saying, so it's like totally blind. This is the item, it is directly taking the lead time, ignoring whatever is present, of whatever can we deliver it fast? No, it's like a blind eye to all of those settings. Okay, so this is how the sales lead time work, and all of these things change. And guys, I also forgot to tell you one important setting, and that is if you go to lab, I think I've written it here, recalculate, we have to enable this also, recalculate delivery date. So in the updates, if you go, so make sure this is not the first option, because this recalculate delivery date means whenever you are making changes to the line items, the delivery dates will change accordingly, which is a good idea. All right, so this is uh, the sales lead time. Now let us, so this is the only concept, nothing more. Now let us move on to the different, which is I'll go to shipments, and I'm saying no, I want the ATP. Then this will be disregarded, and I'm saying my ATP time fence is 4. So 4 means it's very much like the sales lead time. Now the system will say, okay, today you are ordering, by default we'll take 4 days to to get this item so that you can ship. But it will consider the existing inventory as well. In fact, it can consider a lot of things depending on all of these settings. Okay, let me show you. Today is 5, I mean, sorry, the inventory right now we have 5. Let me go to the sales order. In fact, let me delete this sales order, remove this line, delete this sales order. I'll show you how the things are happening. Meanwhile, I'll go to this item, and I also will show you that we can override all of these settings. So I go to default order settings, and in the sales, I want to override delivery date control. So right now, the delivery date control here is ATP and time fence is 4. I'll say ATP and time fence is 10. Okay, click on save. So by default, the system should take this precedence and it will say, see, we need 10 days. All right, let me go here and click generate a new sales order. BPCL. And yeah, we've already discussed all of these things. I'll just take the defaults, whatever it is taking. And yeah, so right now you can see that by default, it is assuming that all the inventory is available. Okay. So it's just saying requested ship date as it's not adding anything here. But anyway, we need to add the item and then check all of these things. As soon as I add ITM 005 and I want a quantity of 30, click on save. The system is saying the requested ship date of 15, assuming that today and then the next 10 days. And then ship date is nothing. Uh, we should click on simulate delivery dates here. We can say lead time is 11 this time, and the transport days are 8, obviously. So it's taking 1 day extra. But the thing is, adding it today and adding the 10 days more. But if I just reduce this quantity to 1, so this is right now taking precedence over this 2 days. It's taking into account today's plus 10 days, which is the default item settings. So this is being taken right now. But if I in the sales order, as soon as I said, I just want one quantity. Now system is saying that lead time is changed, ship date and receipt dates. And I'm like, okay, I want one quantity. And guys, can you see one quantity? The system is saying, okay, you want to sell one quantity. Well, ship it today only. Today is 4 and saying requested ship date as 4. Now you might ask a question that Vipin, here it's the ATP time fence is 4. It should have taken 4, but obviously it will not take because it should be 10. But it's not taking 4 or not taking 10, and directly it is saying that ship it today. Why? It's because, as I was telling you, that ATP will consider the existing inventory, and we know that existing inventory, we already assured you that we already have existing inventory as 5. So till I'll say 5 and click on save, it will say please ship it today. But as soon as I click on 6, it is saying that lead time change, recalculate ship and receipt dates. And I'm like, yes. And it comes back to the requested ship date of 10 and receipt date of 18. So this is how the things are happening, and we are obviously approaching the time of order entry deadline groups, because of which we'll see one the 1 day difference. Anyway, so this is how the ATP works. Now, second thing is, once we have, okay, so we've, okay, now there are few more settings. And this is a homework for you guys because this is super simple. ATP backward time fence. It simply means backward demand time fence. It simply means, like, if I write 3 here, it simply means that it will, from today's date, the system will check 1, 2, 3 days before, in like from date 1 to date 3, system will check, is there already a sales order which may be in created state, and that is going to consume this particular item. Should I consider that sales order? What do you mean by consider? Consider means this, that if that sales order is having, let me say, quantity of 5, and today we are creating a sales order, it means the ATP today will suggest, if today it is suggesting that ship it now, the ATP will not say ship it now, because the ATP is taking into account some other sales orders. And since the item is going to be consumed on these sales orders, so today we do not have the inventory available, although today today we have inventory available. So this is nothing but it is considering some of the sales order back in time. Should it consider? If yes, how many days? So basically, this is going to affect the quantity of item which will be available as of today, because the system will imagine that it is consumed, although it hasn't been consumed. For example, right now we are having this physical inventory of 5. So today the system was saying, okay, ship it today. But if I have a sales order with a quantity of 5, with a quantity of 5 in the last 3 days, and if I say 3 here, then today the system will not say that ship it today. System will say, we do not have inventory. Please take the required ATP time fence. Similarly, so this is a kind of homework for you. Feel free to do it so, and it's super simple. It will unnecessarily stretch this lecture. So I thought, anyway, similarly, we have backward supply time fence. So backward supply means how many days back in time is there any receipt waiting, like you ordered some item and maybe that item is going to be delivered, you know something like that. So should I consider that or not? Similarly, these two are offsets. Feel free to just add 2, 3, 1 or all of these things and see how the system reacts to this. And this is the best way to learn, with hit and trial, when you have these types of settings. I've done that, but anyway, it will increase the lecture by 1 more hour, so that's useless. Now let us go to ATP plus issue margin. I'll click on save. Let me delete this order also, and this line. Okay. So ATP plus issue margin, as I said, issue margin is nothing but ATP plus some random offset, whatever you define. And so this issue margin is actually defined in the coverage groups of master planning. So I'll have to show you, let me show you the coverage groups. We are not talking about coverage groups in detail today, but anyway. So if I go to master planning, I'm not assuming you might be having a lot of knowledge about master planning, but anyway, this is just a part. For example, the mm, the general coverage group. So it will take the settings from general if not specified on the item. And again, if it is if coverage group is specified on the item, it will take the preference of coverage group. So view details, I can go and I can say that the require this is the issue margin. So this is like the extra time which you are taking and for the preparation of the shipment. So I'll say save, that's it. And let me go to the um, account receivable parameters and settings where shipments, and I have said okay ATP issue margin. Okay, so in short, right now if we see, let us check the settings again, default order settings. So what I'm hoping is system will add 5 days more, uh 5 days more to this, 5 days more to these days. Okay, so now this is going to take preference and add, let me create a new sales order. I'm creating new sales orders because by default it's going to default from there. Like what exactly is the delivery date control? Warehouse 11, and you can see the delivery date control is now ATP plus issue margin. I'll click on OK, and let me try to add the item. Let me say I want to add only one quantity, and okay. Let me say I want to add 50 quantities. Click on save. So requested ship date. So plus 5 days being added. 8 days are taking, but the plus 5 days are now added here. You can see if you go to simulate delivery days, you can say the lead time is basically last time it was 11 and this is 16. So guys, this is how the issue margin is also working. Okay, so ATP 10 days already, 11 days, and then 5 days, 16 days. Then you can see that here it's not able to promise. So whatever dates are present there, you can use those dates. So for example, if I want to make sure that, yeah, everything is fine on 20, I want to update the confirmed ship date or update the requested ship date, we can do that. If I click on update requested ship date, the ship date will be, it's taking some time, it will be updated. So guys, this is how, we are using the ATP, the delivery date controls, and I think a lot of the questions which a lot of people ask, I think it's pretty much clear to you. The one thing remaining is CTP, but yeah, that is going to take maybe I'll take another session for that because we have to deal with production and all. But I think this amount of information was very much necessary because people are always confused, like how this is happening, what is all of these things and all. Anyway, so that was all for today's session. I hope you learned something today from this, and thank you very much. I'll see you soon again. Bye bye.